What do you look for in a pre-purchase exam? It's a question we get all the time, and there's no short or simple answer. But there are some key questions we look to answer that can help in determining if a horse is sound.
The purchase exam is, I think, very stressful for purchasers. It's stressful for sellers. It's stressful for veterinarians. There's many different presentations from different veterinarians. It's going to be basically the same and systematic. At the end of it, there's going to be a lot of information to be shared.
This is definitely a snapshot in time. We're looking at the horse as he is today. Depending on what the client's interested in using the horse for definitely will dictate, the intensity of our exam, how deep we go, what we look at, and what we look for.
What is the intended use of the horse? Depending on if you're looking for a performance horse or a trail horse or both, you're going to have different criteria for evaluating the horse. More than anything, you want a horse that's a good fit for you and will meet the demands of the type of riding you will be doing.
Just because a horse has an intended purpose doesn't mean by the end of the evaluation the horse cannot be capable of other activities. If something comes up in that evaluation in regard to intended use, then we can communicate with the purchaser at that point and present it and see if they want to proceed or how they want to handle it.
Is the horse currently in good health and sound?
Yeah, we cannot predict or control what will happen. We can just provide the information that we encounter on that day. And that gets back to having some data. I believe, in my opinion, when we do a lameness evaluation, that we have documentation with an objective instrument.
So radiographs for me are a big cornerstone of the pre-purchase exam because we can go in there and really see a story of the horse's life up to this point.
Is the horse likely to stay sound for the intended purpose?
If you were to do a pre-purchase on me today, I may not pass just from some of the things, but can I get out and do my job and work hard? Yeah, absolutely I can. So I think that's really what it comes back to is what do we need this animal to do on a day-to-day basis, and what's the severity of what we're seeing as far as if there is any pathology.
Can you trust the vet?
We really like the aspect that the lameness locator or equinosis gives us, that objectivity, and I think that inspires confidence from the purchaser, and that's who I represent. I am the eyes for them in many cases and have to give them deep information that they're looking for, very detailed.
The way that vets are being trained today, it's really not as big of an issue for me. We're taught to be objective. We understand that it's, our license on the line.
What are some things you would consider deal breakers for a horse?
A heart murmur or heart condition would be a deal breaker. Respiratory difficulty or abnormality, I would investigate that further, and that could be a deal breaker. Some laryngeal abnormality, that would be a deal breaker for me.
What are some things you find in exams that you can live with?
Again, it gets back to the whole picture of the horse. It gets back to intended use. There are sometimes radiographic findings that are minimal and sometimes incidental that do not bother me. And it will be based on my opinions of horses I've seen over the years and how those horses performed and how sound they stayed throughout their life.
Shoeing, that's really the biggest thing that I see a lot of, sore-footed horses, and it's like we take radiographs. That's why I think the front, radiograph on the front feet is always a good cornerstone to start at no matter what you're doing in a pre-purchase exam, because we can look at balance, and that's really going to relate back to what I'm seeing immediately. So trimming a horse, reshoeing a horse, we can get a lot done with a good farrier.
Just like people, horses aren't perfect. If you're looking for that experienced horse that's safe for riders of all levels, and you're also looking for perfect radiographs and no blemishes, you will be on a never-ending search. Remember to stay focused on your specific needs, and you will find a horse that's sure to be with you for years to come.